Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Mr. S and I'm a primary school teacher here to help you with some of the tricky things in school. Now, this is part 2. If you haven't already seen part 1, then please check it out. I've put a link to it in the description below. Today we're going to be looking at part 2 of SAT's reasoning tests and what makes them so difficult. If you find that they are usually more brain melters than brain teasers, then you're in the right place, because we're going to be breaking them up into little pieces to make them much more manageable. Let's get started. Now, starting with question 1, I've already got over here on the side my handy key of rucksack. Read, underline, choose, solve, answer, and check. It's really important for me to use that in all of my worded problems like this one here. So first, let's read and underline the important bits of the question. Then we're going to choose what we need to do, solve the question, find out the answer, and quickly check it back. So Mrs. Mills has 940 seeds to plant into trays. She plants 12 seeds in each tray, but the last tray is not full. What fraction of the last tray is filled? Okay, so first what I need to do is to find out how many trays get filled from my 940 if I'm doing 12 in each one. So I'm going to need to do some division. Then, with whatever is left over, will be my remainder, and that is the fraction. So let's get started. If you've already seen my long division videos, then you'll know exactly how I'm going to be answering this. I like to have my times tables written down the side just to make it a little bit easier. If you don't know your times tables or you can't get it written down on the side, then it's always handy to have 100 square or your times tables grid out as well. Okay, so I think that's going to be plenty for me to get going with the question. How many 12s go into 9? That's 0. 9 multiplied by 0 gives me 0. I'm going to subtract. It keeps 9. Now let's bring down the 4 until I've got 94. Okay, how many 12s go into my 94? I've already got this down my side here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full ones go into 94, and that was 84. Subtract, that leaves me with 10. Bring down my 0. I've got 100. So again, I'm going to look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, which was 96. Subtracting leaves me with 4. So I've got 4 remainder out of my 12. Okay, so that means that there are 4 out of 12 seeds left in one of these trays here. Okay, I've got 4 inside a tray that would usually have 12. Now I can simplify this fraction because both 4 and 12 can be divided by 4, which would leave me with 1/3. So my final answer is 1/3. I'm just going to quickly check my answer here. I'm going to work backwards, and I've got 1/3. That was from 4 12ths. Yep, 4 is 1/3 of 12. I'm just checking my answers here and making sure that I've done all of my calculations. I will definitely needed to answer it as a fraction, making sure that I've read the question properly as well, and I needed to divide my 940 seeds between 12 seeds per tray. Great, now let's move on to the next question, shall we? Okay, this one looks nice and long and it's worth 3 marks here, so there's probably going to be a couple of tricky steps to this one. Let's first read our question and underline the important bits. So our shop buys 35 boxes of crisps. Each box contains 48 packets of crisps. On average, the shop sells 56 packets of crisps each day. So how many days will it take for all of the crisps to be sold? Now first I need to find out how many packets of crisps there are in total. So I need to multiply my packets of crisps in each box by the amount of boxes of crisps that I've got. So I'm going to do 35 multiplied by 48. Okay, 5 multiplied by 8 gives me 40. My 4 goes up here. 3 multiplied by 8 is 24. I need to add the 4, gives me 28. Now I'm multiplying my tens column, so I automatically put a 0 for my tens. 5 multiplied by 4 gives me 20. 2 and 0. And 3 multiplied by 4 gives me 12. Add my 2 is 14. Lastly, let's add our 2 columns here. 0, 8, 6, and 1. So in total, I've got 1,680 packets of crisps. Okay, so that was the first step here. Now we need to move down to the second step. Now these are some tricky calculations, and that's why you're getting 3 marks for this question rather than just 2. Next step is going to be 56 packets of crisps each day. Well, I need to divide my total number of crisps by 56 each day in order to work out how many days it's going to take. So I'm going to put that into my bus stop method as well. I've got 1,680 packets of crisps divided by 56 packets per day. Again, I'm going to get my times tables written over here. Your 56 times tables is probably not one that you've learned before, so you may need to add them up in column on the side here, but I think that's going to be far enough. Now, 56 going into 1 doesn't go. 56 multiplied by 0 gives me 0, leaves me with 1, and bring down the 6. 56 into 16 still doesn't go. I'm going to do 56 multiplied by 0, gives me 0, subtract, leaves me with 16, bring down my 8, 168. Now 168 divided by 56 gives me 3. That was 168. Subtract those, leaves me with 0, bring down my 0. 56 into 0 goes 0 times, so that is 30, because I've got no more left, so I've definitely stopped here. I've got 30 days in total for me to sell 1,680 crisps if I sell 56 every day. So I've got 56 days here. Moving on to our third and final question for today. I think this one is one that is much easier than it actually looks. They've got it quite complicated here, throwing in some pictures, having a couple of different ways of forms of currency, and trying to make it a big worded problem. But really, the maths in this is quite simple. Now again, read the question, underline the important bits, choose what you need to do, solve it, find out the final answer, and check it. Okay, remember that is our key rucksack to all of our questions. So first, let's underline the mass of a 1p coin is 3.56 grams. The mass of a 10p coin is 6.5 grams. I'd be interested to know if that's actually true, but that's a game for another day. Now, what is the difference in mass between £1 in 1p coins and £1 in 10p coins? So the fact that we've got to work out the difference, I know that means I'm going to need to subtract at some point. Okay, so first, let's have a think. How many 1p coins do I need to make £1? That's right, we need 100 1p coins to make £1. How many 10p coins do we need to make £1? We need 10 of them. Okay, so let's do this one at a time. Now let's go for the 10p coins first. Not sure why, that's just the one calling me. So I need to work out what 10 of my 10p coins would be. So I just need to multiply that. 10 multiplied by my 6.5 grams. Okay. When I'm multiplying by tens or hundreds, I just need to move my digits one place value to the side there, across, and that means I'm going to have 65 grams. Now working out for my 1p coins, I need 100 of them. So I need to do 100 multiplied by 3.56. Again, I know that for 100, I need to move 2 place values. All my digits need to move 2 place values across, which is going to give me 356 grams. Now let's go back to that key part here, the difference. We're not over with the question yet. That's why it's worth 2 marks instead of 1. I need to work out the difference, so I'm going to do some subtraction. 356 subtract 65. 6 subtract 5 gives me 1. 5 can't subtract 6, so whoopsie. I'm going to borrow 1 across from here in exchange. 9, 2 leaves me with 2. 291 grams is my final answer. Now, I hope that's been helpful for you. My main advice would be to remember your rucksack here, because that really will be the key to breaking up each of these long worded questions where they're really just trying to trick you and find ways to make it more wordy with multiple steps in the question. So make sure you are reading carefully, underlining the important bits, choosing what to do before you solve, answer, and at the end, check your answer too, because you don't want any slip-ups and losing a silly mark here or there. If you're taking your SAT soon, then all the best of luck, and I'll see you next time.